luego vino otro personaje. Y ese personaje iba desfilando con un traje negro y un sombrero de copa.
This is a story about Thelonious Monk and his music. There were no wrong notes on his piano.
You know, they talk about own voices. There are very few kids writing books, and I think there should be more kids writing books. Like, I see those three back there, and I'm like, one of them should write a book. I don't know which one of those three should write a book. I see, it's you. I understand.
My main character does go to the Dominican Republic on vacation, and the first time I went, I was 10 years old, and it was really kind of culture shock, and there were all these things that I saw there that, you know, just sort of the income inequality and just all these different things that were a little bit surprising to me, and I wanted to reflect that, and I wanted to put that in the book, and I wanted to show my character sort of having some of the same reactions that I did.
One scene that I really struggled to write in this book, but that was very important to me, was when Carolina and her mom are arguing about a new friend that Carolina makes. Because Carolina becomes friends with this girl who's, like, very different. Like, you know, she has this crazy hair, and she's an artist, and her parents live, like, way over on the wrong side of the new town that they've moved to. And so that was something that was really hard to write, but I also thought was really important to me to tease out, like, what happens when the friends you make are not the ones your parents would have maybe chosen for you.
Somehow it's gotten out there that reading earlier is reading better. It is better for the kid. And so that's put all this pressure on parents to teach kids how to read when they're 4 and 5. And most kids aren't ready to read at 4 and 5. If a kid is ready to read, that's great, and you've set the ground for that by reading to them when they're babies and toddlers, but the fact is every brain is different, and the range of when a kid is ready to learn to read, it's incredible, but it's really between 3 and 7, even 8.
Well, there's a lot of child development rules and things we're supposed to follow when we're doing books for kids, or, you know, sort of try to help them get to the next level where you can understand it. Like, if you're 3, you don't understand things the way you're going to understand them when you're 8 or 9 or 10. But I also find that, you know, kids have the same problems that adult artists have, in that, how do I get started? How do I get permission to just be creative? I think we all reach a stage when we're kids, or as we get a little bit older and we're not little kindergartners anymore, where we're like, well, am I allowed? Is there a rule? How do I do a comic? So when I do a workshop, I'll say, you know what? Don't worry about that. We're going to do something really simple. You have 4 panels, and you're going to tell a story in just 4 pictures.
I try to play to the strength of every person, meaning that we all have a very strong, what I call a painter's eye. We have the ability to mimic, and we can recognize perspective. So you take the fear out of it by I made a little booklet, I put it down in front of them, it has step-by-step instructions, and I've noticed no matter where I go in the world, people can easily follow that, from the youngest of the young to the oldest of the old, and they've drawn a face to the mathematics of drawing faces, because we're very good at recognizing our human mass. And that's like the first step. Once they do that, then they realize you just add practice to that, and then now I can draw this. So in an hour's time, they've gone from, I've never drawn a circle before, I can't, that feeling of I can't, to look, I've drawn something that looks almost exactly like it looks in the book.
Telling them, like, look, you can write any story or create any story that you want, and they never believe me. They never believe me. It's always, well, are you sure? Can I write about a fairy in a tree with can chase rainbows? You know, for the high school, it's like, can I write any language I want? And I'm like, well, it depends. It depends on the context. Is it gratuitous and all that stuff? But I generally say, like, hey, you have the absolute freedom to create what you want, but it's up to you. It's like, what do you enjoy? What do you like? I'm like, yeah, we love all the Marvel films and the DC films. That's great. If you want to do fan fiction, we can do that. But if there's something that you'd always wanted to write about, or something that you were always interested in, this is the medium to do it.
In this book for children 8 through 12, I'm describing my childhood in Germany, in Frankfurt, as an only child to Orthodox Jewish parents, and that they sent me to safety to Switzerland in 1939. Otherwise, I would not be alive. Many of the children who grew up with me in the Orthodox Jewish community in Frankfurt did not make it. The one that went to Holland, Belgium, and France did not come out alive. So I'm very grateful that my parents actually gave me life twice. Once when I was born, and once when they sent me to safety to Switzerland.